So when I call your name, please say present. Mike?
Present.
Mary Ellen?
Mary Ellen.
Yeah, Mary Ellen. Ann?
Present.
John?
Present.
Valerie? Present. Selena? Present. Jenna? Present. Bonnie? Present. And Jennifer Sowers is not making it this evening. Okay. So I want to welcome everyone. We have a quorum count. Obviously, we have a number of people who are present. Thank you very much for our staff for coming in, and especially during the construction. Again, that was challenging at best, but the staff rose to the occasion. And Carolyn sends her best wishes to everyone. She's at a rehab center and coming along. Okay? Now, do I have approval of the minutes from the December 15th, 2022 board meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, we have to set a date for next month.
Can I bring up, if we're gonna set a date, what we can discuss, maybe moving the meeting to 7?
Well, let's take a poll. Who would like to, who cannot make meetings at 7?
It depends on the day.
Okay, so we've always had them at 7:30, and I hate to,
Okay.
you know, if Valerie can't make it, that would be not fair, just because we always have a 7:30.
7:15.
For me, it depends on the day. I could have a meeting, I could have someplace I have to bring my kid, you know, so I just can't, I don't know, until I know what day it is.
Okay, so why don't we keep them at 7:30, just to be fair, because we do, you know, everyone who ran for the board and stuff knew that it was 7:30, okay? Okay, next month, it's February. Any suggestions, any days it doesn't work? February 16th looks good for me, how about everyone else? That's a Thursday? What's the date on? February 16th, it's a Thursday. I would prefer not to do it February 14th, I don't think that's fair.
I'm out that day.
February 16th might not work for me.
Okay, how about February 15th?
No, that week, I'm sorry.
Okay, how about what, February 21st?
I can't do the 21st. I'm in the city.
How about the 23rd?
I'm going to bow out of next month because February 23rd is my due date, so.
Oh.
The 23rd is now.
It's my only conflict in February. I have a wedding. Sorry.
I'm sorry?
I have a wedding on the 23rd. That's my only conflict in February.
Okay, so it looks like we're not going to get everyone in a board meeting. So a show of hands, 15th or 16th, does that work for the majority of people, except for Mike?
No, 15th works.
15th, does 15th?
And it didn't work for Ann.
It doesn't work for Ann. And then how about the following week, the 22nd, 23rd, besides Selena, does that work for everyone? No, Jenny, you said it doesn't work.
The 23rd doesn't work, but the 22nd.
How about the 22nd?
Yes.
Does the 22nd, Valerie, work for you?
Yep.
Yes.
John, everyone? Okay, how about we do February 22nd?
Ash Wednesday, not a problem.
Oh, okay.
Jennifer, can we check if we have a program or something? Because it's unusual for us to do Wednesday
Just
nights.
check the calendar, but yes, I will.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, while Jennifer's checking that, Ken Gilman?
Hi.
Hi.
You want me to stay here? Can you hear me here?
You good?
Okay, fine. There was discussion about some signs in the driveway. The signs are in. The highway department will be installing them. They hope this week. Obviously, depends on the weather in the next couple of days, but they'll probably be in. They'll be in a week or so. In meaning installed in a week or so. With it being one-way sign right as you come up the driveway here. Do not enter will be right where the book depository is. And even though I'm sure they will ignore it, there'll be a one-way sign at the end of the driveway coming this way,
Yep.
pointing
Yep.
that way so that the traffic goes around the circle.
Great.
Just now when I was there, one of the neighbors was going up the down staircase. So that's why I say, hopefully the sign maybe will get them to go around the way we'd like them to. I'm not going to make any promises. But they are. They'll be installed by the highway department. We talked about the cottage, there's putting in a water softening system. I believe you have 3 proposals obviously from 3 different companies to do so. All good companies, it just depends on the board as to if you want the lowest bid or not. But I can recommend all 3 of them because I've dealt with all 3 of them. Better Water has done a lot of work for the library, and they are the least expensive of the 3 bids.
Yeah, I mean, my recommendation would be Better Water just because of the price point. Does everyone feel?
I make a motion that we approve, I'll say $3,000 for Better Water Well Systems for the water softener for the cottage.
I second. All in favor?
I will get back to them and tell them you can do. There was, I think it was a patron who talked about the fact that one of the drainage system was all backed up, and the upper parking lot area. It's all been taken care of, just so that if any of you were part of that. Tony Lupino's people took care of it last week, cleaned everything out, and he said it seems to be fine. He couldn't test it by putting water in it because all the water shut off, but it did rain and it seems to be working in fine state. So that's been taken care of. And other than that, I submitted a checklist of things that I checked over the period of time since last we met. Things are the way they're supposed to be.
That's good. I like the checklist.
Yes, I do too. Thank you, Ken.
You're welcome. I'm glad you all like it.
I do. Thank you again.
Good.
Any other questions for Ken?
Just a procedure question. When do we need to get competitive bids, and when do we just approve something like that? $3,000.
We got
We got those. They're in your draft. They were-
Oh, okay. I missed that. Sorry. Thank you.
I think the price point is $1,500.
Well, I didn't get that. One other question. Whose recycling bins are they by the side of the library? Is trash and recycling bins in on the pavement there?
Who's that? Let's say, who's that? Jennifer, who's
Are they
that?
dumpsters?
Yeah.
The 2 dumpsters belong to the library, one for recycling, one for garbage.
Okay.
Our
Do you mean just little tiny bins?
No, these are
The big ones up top, you're talking about the ones up top.
No, these are down in the kind of swelled area by the side of the library. The reason why I ask is because it's an impediment to people parking.
Wait, are they the big, are you talking about the big dumpsters when you go to the top of the parking lot?
If you start at the book drop off
Yes.
and just go that way, the wrong way on that road.
Oh, those are our tenants.
Those are the tenants.
That's the tenants, that's their driveway.
And they have recycling things in their driveway.
No, they use our dumpsters.
Yeah, these
so
are
I don't-
dumpsters. I mean, occasionally they have I see maybe a kid's bike or something, but a car fits there. I mean, they
And
usually have
that
a
belongs to
car.
them.
That belongs to them, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. They've got 2 parking spots. They've got like the dirt one on the left-hand side, and they've got the one in front of the garage. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not explaining myself right, so next time I'll share a picture.
Okay. Great.
Or we can
Thank
take a walk after.
Yeah.
you. Kidding, I'll trip and fall. Any other questions for Ken? Otherwise, we'll move on to my rules. No, thank you, Ken, so much. Mike?
Hello. I got here just in time. So as we approach, this is the year-end presentation. However, this is still in a unaudited presentation, if you want to say. Our audit's happening, I believe, the week of February 13th. The auditors will come in. Well, actually, they will do it remotely. I've worked with Heidi, and we're almost, we're ready to give the books, over to them to do their audit. We just have a couple of more items to go with, and that will be approving tonight's warrant, which will be backdated, a majority of it will be backdated to December 31st, as the invoices are December in nature. Otherwise, this is the presentation as of year end.
Mike, before you came,
Yes.
did February 22nd, did that check out? February 22nd next month, is that okay for you?
That should be, yeah.
Okay, great, thank you.
No problem. If worse comes to worse and I could never make it, I would always give the board a financial summary,
Okay, great.
so you guys can go on by one. All right, so February 22nd, you said? Okay. All right, perfect. I guess the first thing is based on the order. Can I go, the financial update, I'm sorry, and then we'll go over everything else. Okay. So here we have the balance sheet. You'll see the cash position as of December 31st is a little under $1.1 million, as opposed to $1.5 million as of December 31st of 2021. Obviously, with the spending of the interior renovations and what have you, that's pretty much the reason why it's down $400,000. And as you'll see, there is no more money in that 2172 account, which has been moved and consolidated into the other money market account. As you'll see, there's no more due from Pound Ridge, there's no more prepaid. You have the Schwab assets of $745,000, a significant decrease from the year prior, but I think based on the market, that's as to why there's been a significant decrease.
That decrease is all market value of our investments?
Yeah.
$1 million.
Yeah.
What
I mean, I would have when Chris Cuny comes in at some point, he'll give his quarterly review, and he'll go over that as well. But that's where we stand. In regards to the liabilities, it's pretty consistent. There's the new security deposit with the new tenant. The accrued liabilities right now that we have in there represents payroll accrual. It's just bookkeeping, so pretty much the last payroll of the year we accrued back minus 1 day. On the second page, this is the opening equity per the financial statements, and you'll see in that net income, you'll see actually a net loss of $521,622. But that is subject to change because in governmental accounting, a lot of the money that we spent in regards to the interior renovations will get reclassed out of an expenditure into a capital asset. So the net income won't be as much, net loss won't be as much as you're seeing right now.
So Mike, do the accountants tell us what's getting pulled out, what's eligible?
No, actually, yeah. So we're gonna do a fixed asset analysis pursuant to GASB 34, and I'll provide the auditor, like I've over the last several years, an analysis of what we think is capitalized based on the policy set forth by the library.
But we only do that calculation once a year.
Once a year. Yep. So we show the operating expenses throughout the year, and then at the end reclass a good portion of it. I could provide the board obviously an analysis of what is going to be capitalized. They'll be capitalized and then depreciated over the life of the useful life of the asset. So you will end up spending that $500,000 when it's all said and done. Any other questions on the balance sheet? Okay. Barring none, let's do the profit and loss very quickly. again, if you look at the profit and loss statement, you'll see in total, shy of 791,000. Pretty comparative to 2021. You'll see a good amount of, if you take out all the market losses, we actually didn't do that bad. But those are the losses, based on the market. And there's the full, tax levy, and the cottage rental will go up, now that we have a tenant occupying it. The library services, 108,000 versus 110,000 the prior year, so pretty consistent with the prior year, year to date. Nothing glaring. If you go to page 2 of 3, the office G&A, actually, the office G&A is 129,800 versus 141. That is subject to change because of tonight's warrant that's going to be approved. So it might be a little bit higher than what's being presented right now. Otherwise, it probably will be in line with what was spent last year. The properties and grounds, as you see, the interior renovations, I think that's self-explanatory. But again, a decent amount of that 525,000 will be moved out and capitalized. So that's the significant increase in there. The salaries and the benefits in total has gone up about 48,000 from the prior year, and that's because of full-time library director and other personnel, and obviously the associated fringes that go along with that. Barring no other questions, and then you have page 3.
Mike, excuse me,
Yes.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Forgive me, I'm still getting up to speed.
That's okay.
Lawn and snow contract, I'm just curious about that.
Yeah, there was some
Did we-
special, I had looked at that. Heidi's probably not here to do the further detail, but I think there was some special projects that were done during the year, like pruning and
There's
stuff.
definitely
There was.
some landscape, a ton of landscape.
There was
Yeah.
landscaping.
Yeah,
This was above and beyond.
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
typical
down
contract.
to the cottage, once our tenants left, we did a whole walkway because it was dangerous. We did the drainage because it was leaking the
Did
basement.
we do sprinklers last year too?
No,
No?
no, but we did, the walkway and everything.
Yeah.
And we did landscaping and we did extreme pruning on everything.
Yeah.
too.
Got it, thanks for the context.
You're welcome.
No problem with that. And then, just the technology and the utilities, they went up, obviously because of probably market rates and what have you. But I mean, so the WLS, they have gone up, based on contract. And then the utilities, went up, 22% in total, due to the market. So with that said, there you go. Again, there's the net loss of 522,000. That was yielded. And then the last presentation, there's no other questions on here. It's just really giving you an actual versus a budget. So if you just looking at this from actual budget in regards to the revenue, down 14,000, but you'll see that the gifts and donations, obviously, these, from the foundation, was offset by the net losses in the loss in the market value. And I'm going to talk about later in a few minutes the resolution that I would like, hopefully you guys have to pass. Library services. $108,000 versus $95,000 that was budgeted, so that's over by about $13,500. You'll see that the majority of it, after you take the net ins and outs, is in the 8240 account, the programs. That makes up the majority of overexpended line item on that. Let me see, if you go to the next page, you'll see a budgetary savings of about 15,000 on the office G&A. You know, plenty of ins and outs on that, but 90% of that budget was spent. The properties and grounds, of course, that's, you know, because of the interior renovations. The salaries and benefits still there, even though the actuals from year to year have gone up, the budgetary is still, we still have $103,000 of budgetary savings. And the, let me see, the last page, you know, the WLS, you know, is up 12,000, but I think that the board has, we've increased that amount in the 2023 budget when we did our analysis, so that should hopefully cover that. And you'll see this other amount here, the use of fund balance for $275,000. That was the resolution that was done back in May, using fund balance to cover some of those interior renovations. So otherwise, that's really all I have on this.
I just have two things for the board to consider. We are going to go under a driveway renovation. I'd like the finance department to look to see maybe some of these restricted funds. As projects go forward, we can use some restricted funds based on what they're used for. I know several of the funds we can never touch the principal, only the interest. But that's something that maybe we should look at and draw down some of those funds, since we haven't touched them in many, many years. One of the Schwab, when we did an analysis, I know one of the ones is the lady place that we went to, Ann, in Valhalla, Mrs. Wood. This is the only, so this is Mrs. Wood's wing. It goes right up to the door. So she said exterior, so that's really the landscaping of just this wing, if that makes sense. So some of these are very specific. So that's one thing that the finance department wants to look at, because I know we're looking into technology and everything else. So keep in mind, we just got a $100,000 check from the town, which is not reflected in this today. Our total taxes we will get in May will be $664,000. So we just got $100,000 now. We collect $774,000 for the year. But when we approve the warrants and stuff, let's try to be conscious of how much we're spending, and maybe some of these projects need to be either put on hold or scaled back. We are on a spending spree, which is good, but I think that we need to maybe rein some of these in. And we have the wonderful foundation that maybe we could also, yes, thank you very much for attending, and maybe we could also look at with some of these projects as well, okay? So my 2 cents.
You said we got a check today from the town, Bonnie?
Yes, yes, $100,000. So that's $100,000. So what the town does is they give us $100,000, I guess, to tide us over, and then they give us remaining balance. April 30th, your taxes are collected, and we usually get, it's a week of that.
Okay. Total of $774,297, that's on the.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Gotcha. I didn't realize that.
I don't have in front of me the, do we have that board resolution, Alan? I think I had sent that. Okay, I don't have it in front of me, so I guess I did. So one of the things, you know, as part of the audit is to, you know, analyze the year-to-date budget versus the actual. So what I'm proposing here is grossing up some of the surplus revenues, and if you scroll down, increasing the appropriations that were overexpended, and also on the third page, this is a monster adjustment, taking the budgetary savings from the other accounts and funding that those over expenditures. So you have a combination of operational savings plus increased surplus revenues to offset the over expenditure items. So, so the next,
Does that change the budget?
I'm sorry?
You're changing the budget?
Moving.
You're reshuffling the budget?
Yeah, yeah, so the net, so it's, it would be a net increase of 234,000, to the appropriations and a net increase to, the estimated revenues. So those estimated revenues plus the decrease.
Yeah, it all nets out, I get that. I guess I'm like, why are we doing that? Why do you have to do that?
Because if when the auditors come and they see that there's overexpended line items in total on their presentation, it might be overexpended in whole, and then they'll footnote it in the financial statements. So this is just getting ahead of the curve and showing them that, you know, we did an analysis, you know, the board approves, you know.
Yeah, every year we make line item transfers, so this way the auditors don't say you overspent this
Because
line,
it-
you underspent this line. Because we make a budget back in July and August, John, and then, you know, we change our direction, we change. We thought the driveway was gonna go in last year's budget, it didn't, it's in this year's budget, and we didn't know the interior was going to be, you know, done mainly in last year, so.
No, look, I get it, my question is just in order to look to go, you booked this in December, right before I'm gonna audit you. That's like the whole point, right?
Well, I mean, you know, going forward, you know, we did a mid-year budget adjustment, for the interior renovations. But that was just to get us enough money for that specific line. We've gone over, but we've also should take into consideration that we've gotten about 70,000 from the foundation. So that was one-time monies that were not part of that original budget. So that, you know, and we didn't know how much we were going to get in interest, you know, interest earnings and et cetera. So that's why, you know, with the surplus revenues that we got, if you go back to that first page, Alan. So, you know, you have all those investment incomes from the Schwab statements. You have the interest income from the regular operating account, a couple of miscellaneous items with the income and the state aid. 107,000 will be used from the fund balance, from the savings account, to fund the remaining costs. So, but that's considered.
Look, I get it, if we do it every year, that's fine, I guess we're avoiding to write it in the footnote, I don't know what the impact of writing in the footnote is.
It's just more of a forward-thinking approach, you know, to the auditors that the board is cognizant of, you know, the fact that we did a.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
What stands out is the, in terms of the budget, is the $100,000 for the staffing. And that relates to a plan to hire additional staff that didn't happen? Is that what that is?
Yeah, so it's probably a clerk position, we had a full-time clerk position that we didn't fill all of last year. But we, you know, we'll talk about that later, but we have now.
So in essence, you're taking that budgetary savings, and now you can fund the other appropriations in the budget, you know, that went over.
So what do we have to do? I guess we have to make a motion for you to,
Yes. Because once you guys make the motion and approve it, then we can then go back in, adjust the balances accordingly, and then the auditors would then have a final product.
I make a motion that Michael Lewis go and do the adjustments that were just presented to this board.
I'll say.
Year-end. Second, all in favor? Thank you. Let's talk about the warrants. Is this accurate, 76,000?
There was one adjustment, Bonnie's telling me, the power gift invoices, that's for tote bags and all the promotional
Oh, yeah.
stuff that we give away. Only the top one on the stack of 4 was counted, so it's supposed to be 3,241.91, not 1,048.29, so the new total will be 78,369.71.
Okay, I have one question about the tile from Matt. What is that called?
Matt Construction?
Matt Construction?
Yes, okay, so that's the building of the step stools, the redoing of the radiator shelving, The ceiling
The
tiles?
ceiling tiles on that, right, you said tiles, I forgot the ceiling tiles. Okay. Any questions on the warrants? Do I have a motion for someone to approve the amount?
I'll make a motion to approve the warrants of $78,369.71.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Oh, no problem.
Before we go any further, I'd like to call an executive session, just for a quick, personnel matter and for one legal matter. Right